This is Jacob Kumpon from Claw Industries, and our first step in our pathway to producing glass SCMs is to estimate our project using the calculator. So we have our information typed in up here. We're going to go ahead and press calculate, and that's going to bring up our project summary. For this project, we're looking at a facility in New York with an annual capacity of 20,500 tons of glass SCMs per year. The lead time on the equipment for this facility is 78 weeks, and the space requirement is 19,500 square feet to begin this operation. Moving down, we have our equipment summary. We operate and sell a modular process so that we can easily scale the equipment to the size of facility that you're looking for to reach that annual capacity. So this is each machine in the process and the quantity that we're going to need to reach your target tonnage. And this is the individual cost of each one of those pieces of equipment, and then the subtotal and net total cost of all the equipment required to reach that annual capacity that was entered. Now, the most important part of this spreadsheet is the unit cost per ton. And there's three different types of markets that you could be in locally that determine the viability of producing glass SCMs for your operation. You could be in what we consider to be a good market, an average market, and a bad market. And these are our four line items that make up our total unit cost. And you can see the items highlighted in red here are estimations based off the location you picked for your project. The items highlighted in green, the where parts here, are validated from our own operations running this equipment. And that gives us our total unit cost. The first line item on our unit cost is glass revenue. MRF glass, or MRF glass, is the raw material utilized to make a glass SCM. And this is sourced from recycling facilities that typically pay to dispose of this material since it's considered a waste stream for them. And so the amount of money that they pay for you to take this material varies widely depending on the region you're in and the specific facilities that operate there. And this has a very large effect on the overall total unit cost. Now, it is great that these recycling facilities pay us to take this MRF glass. However, there is a portion of the stream that we cannot utilize, which is why it is considered waste. It's primarily paper, plastic, and small pieces of metal. So anything that we can't utilize, which can vary very much, anywhere from 5 to 40% contamination levels, we need to then dispose of. And that is driven largely by your local landfill tipping rates and your distance from these landfills on what this disposal cost is actually going to be. And this brings us to our electric cost, which is largely driven by the hammer mill and ball mill systems that consume electricity to go through the crushing and grinding process to reduce the size of the glass usable for an SCM. Now, the real question here is, are you located in a good market for glass SCMs, or are you located in a bad market for glass SCMs? And how we go about validating that is we complete a unit cost research project. This allows us to actually go through, call each one of the recycling facilities in your market, determine what they're currently paying for their MRF glass disposal, get them signed on as suppliers for the facility, which allows us to determine our actual disposal rate by completing a physical study of the material and determining how much of it is usable and the exact amount that we're going to have to dispose of, utilizing your local landfill rates to help us calculate a more accurate disposal number. From there, we do an in-depth study on the electric bill so that we can understand how you're being charged for power and what those electric costs are actually going to look like at scale. And that allows us to come up with a validated unit cost so that we could see if a glass SCM processing facility makes sense in your market. If producing glass SCMs is a good fit in your market, we recommend doing a site visit to our facility in Binghamton so that you could see this equipment in operation and actually get your hands on it. If the project continues, we then begin fabrication of the equipment for your facility. And one of the biggest things that is often overlooked in producing your own glass SCMs is the installation of the equipment and training and getting the whole operation running smoothly. This is something that we provide and is a critical step in the pathway to producing your own glass SCMs. And from there, regular production begins, and you now have your own source of glass SCMs. If you have any questions about the calculator or are interested in determining if you're located in a good market for glass SCMs or a bad market, feel free to give me a call on my cell. I'll probably pick up, or you can schedule a call at the link here.